Howdy everyone, Ray here. Today I just want to take a look at more of a heartwarming story, and this is about Elon Musk's Neuralink technology that they've been developing. And this is a specific case looking at this gentleman here named Kenneth Schock. It's a great username. There's no way his last name's actually Schock, right? But anyways, Kenneth here. And he's an individual who has ALS, unfortunately, and ALS robs people of their speech. So basically, they go in, they insert this little Neuralink chip type thing. It looks like a computer chip, and it's got like little wires and stuff coming out. They'll show it in the video. It looks awesome. It's kind of mind blowing. But they attach that somehow in your brain, some way or another. I don't know how it works, and it pretty much lets him just think of what he wants to say. And then a program, kind of like Steven Spielberg-esque program, does like text to speech, but instead of text to speech, it's thought to speech. It's pretty insane. So let's take a look.
There we go.
We'll turn it up just a little bit, I think, here. All right.
There we go.
I'm talking to you with my mind.
Mouse won't go away.
We're starting off with reducing human suffering. Our first product is called telepathy, and that enables someone who has lost the ability to command their body to be able to communicate with a computer, and the ability to do consensual telepathy.
Neuralink's voice clinical trial is investigating how a brain chip or brain-computer interface can restore the ability to communicate for those with severe speech impairment. It's crazy.
In January of 2026, Ken became the second participant to receive a Neuralink implant for voice.
Wait, she said January 2026?
In January of 2026, Ken became the second participant to receive a Neuralink implant for voice.
I didn't realize it was so
He will
recent.
be able to think, and his device will speak for him. And it will sound like him. It will be OG Ken from way back in 2020 before his voice changed.
I'm not certain about whether soulmates exist or not, but if they do, you're mine. I took one look at your dating profile and I was like, wow, hubba hubba. I was smitten.
Ken and I had a whirlwind romance. We met on eHarmony, and we actually texted for 19 hours straight. At the end of that day, he says, can I call you? And when I heard Ken's voice, that was it. It was love at first sound, I guess is kind of the way it is. After we met, we actually started a black car business. He drove people from the airport to meetings. It was at that point where we kind of started noticing things changing.
I noticed that when I tried to pick things up upside down, I would fall over.
It just wasn't normal. And during COVID is when we noticed his voice starting to change. In January of 2024, we received the news that Ken had ALS. I remember feeling kind of the whole weight of the world, and it was really scary. I had already lost a husband. I think Ken was worried that he was going to leave me alone again.
Random, unrelated, but I love her little dog earrings here. They're super cute.
Again. That was hard for you.
I like to go out, like to be able to go and do things. I can't even go shopping anymore. And I can't get help lots of the time because people don't understand my speech. It's really frustrating.
It's not only just the muscles not working, but it's the fatigue. You don't realize how much energy it takes to talk until you don't have that energy to waste.
Yeah.
And it really takes away independence. our
2 to 3
house got really
years
quiet.
after onset.
It's the silence that comes with ALS. Was kind of one of the things I didn't realize when it started was going to be one of the things I noticed the most.
The Neuralink device gives us something that no other device can give us, which is a single neuron recording from thousands of channels simultaneously. The telepathy
A single neuron. What do you say? I'm going to be so real. They should have given this guy subtitles. He's harder to understand than Ken is. I can understand Kenneth fine at this point.
The Neuralink device gives us something that no other device can give us, which is a single neuron recording.
A single neuron recording
From thousands of channels simultaneously.
from thousands of channels simultaneously. So it just takes. I'm guessing that's like all the neural waves, right? You know, passing through the neural networks.
The telepathy product is basically recording the neural activity from the small area in the motor cortex that involve in execution of hand and arm movements.
Say that again.
Simultaneously. The telepathy product is basically recording the neural activity
Recording the neural activity
from the small area in the motor cortex that involve in execution of hand and arm movements.
Okay, yeah, so it records your neural activity and it converts that into action.
But if we go only about 2 or 3 inches below, there's another brain area that's involved in execution of speech.
You see how deep in the brain that is? Like that's scary. Imagine getting surgery to have something implanted like that deep into your skull. That's terrifying.
We first heard about Neuralink online. And when he saw that they had a patient registry open for people with ALS, he signed up that day.
When you have ALS, you have neuron degeneration, you're unable to transport the signal from your brain to your muscles. It's like
I remember this. There's a myelinated sheath around your neurons that helps transmit the neural signal from one axon, I think, to the next axon. And I would assume, I don't know the specifics about ALS, but I would assume it degrades that myelinated sheath.
severed internet cable. And with the
This is it. Look at this thing. That's insane. It looks like a little jellyfish.
brain-computer interface, it's like a severed internet cable. And with the brain-computer interface, you bypass this
crazy.
pathway completely, and you can read directly from your brain to a device to do the things you want to do. Like most ALS patients, Kenneth was losing his ability to speak. It was slow, it was tiring and difficult, and it's something that is progressively getting worse. And so the real value of the brain-computer interface is that it would give Kenneth his voice back. He'd be able to speak comfortably for hours on end by no longer having to speak out loud, but rather just intend to move his mouth silently in a way that's extremely comfortable.
He was so excited, and I could tell he was excited. I could tell he was a bit nervous.
The only concern I had was the surgery itself.
Yeah.
Because my lung capacity is lower.
Oh.
Otherwise, I was going home.
Ken had surgery, and they sent him home the next day. It was such a smooth
Next
process.
day.
You would have never known, sort of 2 days down the road, that anything had ever happened. We stayed in
Pretty
Dallas for a time after the surgery.
We just did our second voice participant surgery last week. Today will be our first day with BCI. We'll go in, show him how to use his charger, how to use his app, and we will guide him for some sentences to attempt to say, and we'll use that data to try to map neural intent to the actual words.
Yes, this is it. Awesome, they have that.
So when a user gets a brain-computer interface, it's sometimes important for them to play around with their behavior to see what works best. What we did was Kenneth slowed down a little bit and tried to enunciate kind of the individual sounds of his sentence. And really, like out of nowhere, we went from 0 to 100 with the model.
Rain in Spain says mainly on the thing. Ow!
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plane.
That's exactly what I said.
Hey.
Come on in.
Oh, nice to see you, Charlie.
Nice to see you guys.
Good morning.
Come on in.
Good morning, Kenneth.
Good to see you.
We're still in an early phase here, but Kenneth is helping us build the future.
We'll start with some data collection just to collect some sentences. After that, we'll train some models and get going. We'll do these at half speed with mouthing and just continue in that direction.
Silent mouth movement.
Siri, turn on lights in every room. I think this is awesome.
Pretty cool.
The goal is we want him to be able to simply just intend to move his mouth and for our BCI to decode his speech.
So he's just thinking it now.
There we go.
I'm talking to you with my mind.
Nice work. What was different there?
It's crazy.
And that's easy in my head.
Putting more effort in, more intention. It's
Yeah.
modulating your neural signals more.
I am the very model of a modern major general.
Neuralink has given us not only Ken's voice back, but it's really given us a boost. It's given us the chance for Ken to kind of be a pioneer. What excited me, they fired it up and he told me that he loved me. In OG Ken voice. So emotional for me to hear it the way I heard it on the phone all those years ago. Yeah, something else.
I am finally able to talk to you.
We're going to continue advancing the quality of the sensors, the number of the sensors. We want to build a system that goes directly from the brain to voice in real time. And Kenneth will have instantaneous feedback and control of this voice.
Everyone gets his own color.
Will be blue.
I am going to pay 3 to play Search for Life.
I will take 3.
You're gonna do that?
Yes, please. I'm done with my turn.
Nothing has given me a purpose. We work together to make this thing better. Maybe I can't cure illness, but I can participate in research and can give feedback. It will give us back a voice. And the voice is a very important thing to have.
Yeah.
It would be a total waste of who I am. But didn't do all the good you possibly do. Boy, before I take out, go to be with the Lord. And that's the number one reason I'm doing this. Because I'm doing good for others. And that is the best thing of all.
You are the captain of your own ship. Make the most of what you're given in life.
That's pretty crazy stuff. So he can just think of what he wants to say. I mean, he has to be very deliberate with it and intentional about it, but he can just think of what he wants to say. And it's the thought to speech. First we had text to speech, now we have thought to speech. It's just incredible technology. Oh, excuse me. Pretty cool stuff. Elon Musk is he has a lot of cool projects he puts out there. He does. I went to his page to pull this because I saw Asmongold react to this earlier today.
There we go.
I figured I'd go ahead and give it a look too. But I went to Elon Musk's page and I saw he's got this weird like Facebook meta-looking chibi model here as his profile picture. I was like, what? Is this actually his page? And then Tetrafab.ai. I was like, what the heck is Tetrafab.ai? He's got a pinned, of course. So SpaceX AI and Tesla are doing a Tetrafab project, and its goal is 1 trillion watts of compute a year. Now, I don't really necessarily know what that means. I'm assuming it has something to do with like processing power or something. Has this been autoplaying this whole time? What? I think it has. Also, it's like a 20-minute intro. Fascinating.
Accelerate humanity's.
Maybe we'll take a look at a little bit of this too while we're here. Because I am curious. But yeah, Elon Musk, a lot of his projects are just, I was about to say, a lot of his projects are amazing. I think anyone who has a problem with Elon just because he got involved in the Trump administration with Doge, I think they're an idiot, personally. He has so many projects aimed at the betterment of humanity as a whole. And I think it's amazing. If you look at something like this Neuralink or Neuralink thing, and you still say, "Oh, Elon Musk, like this evil dude or whatever," you know, check yourself into a mental asylum. And if you can't yet, don't worry. I'm sure in about 10 to 20 years, we'll get the mental asylums back, you know, up and running, and we'll forcibly, you know, commit you to them. So don't worry about that.
In order to understand the universe, you must explore the universe. And that's the motivation to accelerate humanity's future in understanding the universe and extending the light of consciousness to the stars.
Okay. It's this time saver. All right. Intro, blah, blah. I mean, I kind of want to skip ahead a little bit. Oh, it's not letting me. What are we talking about here? I don't care about your intro. It's very well done.
Well,
oh, there we go.
Profound. Well, we have a profoundly important announcement to make, which is the most epic chip building exercise in history by far.
Okay.
This is really going to take things to the next level. So, yeah, a level probably people aren't even contemplating right now. This is not in the, I would call this sort of an out of context problem. It's not in their context. So we're going to adjust the context by a few orders of magnitude here.
All right.
Let's see. It's a joint effort. I'm pressing the button.
Waiting on production.
But the button's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, yeah. We aspire to be a galactic civilization. So I think the future that everyone, well, most people, I think, would agree is the most exciting is one where we're out there.
Pause. I can agree with this. We aspire to be a galactic civilization. Yes, everybody has this irrational fear that the Earth is just going to, I don't know, explode or become unsustainable at some point. And then what do? We have to find a second Earth, right? What's the scale? The Kardashev scale, type 1. Harness all the energy on a planet. Harness all the energy from a star. Harness all the energy in a galaxy. Okay, interesting. Continue.
Among the stars. where we are not forever confined to one planet, that we become a multi-planet species.
Yep.
Like the best science fiction that you've ever read. You know, Star Trek,
Milky Way.
or Ian Banks, or Asimov, or Heinlein. And we want to make that real. Yeah, not just fiction. Turn science fiction to science fact. That's the glorious, exciting future that I certainly look forward to. It's worth considering sort of like, how would you rate civilizations? You know, there was a physicist, I think it was Russian, in the 60s, Kardashev. He thought about, like, at a high level, how would you consider any given civilization? And he said, well, if you're type 1, you're using most of the energy of your planet. And we actually still have quite a ways to go to be properly a type 1. We're still using a tiny fraction of the sun's energy that reaches our planet. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. But the Earth only receives about 0.5 billionth of the sun's energy. So the sun is truly enormous. The sun is 99.8% of all mass in the solar system. So sometimes people will ask me, like, what about, you know, other power sources of power on Earth? Like, what about fusion on Earth? Well, that is unfortunately very small because the sun is 99.8% of mass in the solar system. And Jupiter is about 0.1%, and Earth is in the miscellaneous category. We are, I think it's Carl Sagan, I think, might have said, Earth is like a tiny dust mote in a vast darkness. Very, very small. The sun is enormous. So the way to actually scale civilization is to scale power in space. This is necessarily true because we actually capture such a tiny amount of the sun's energy on Earth because we're just this tiny dust mote. Another way to think of it is roughly like electricity production on Earth of all of civilization is only about 1/trillionth of the sun's energy, which means if you increase civilizational power output by 1,000,000, you would still only be 1/1,000,000th of the sun's energy. I mean, it's awe-inspiring to consider that, just how tiny we are in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, we often get sort of caught up in these sort of squabbles on Earth that are really very sort of minor things when you consider the grandness of the universe.
Yeah.
And so I think it is important, actually, to consider the grandness of the universe and what we can do that is much greater than what we've done before, as opposed to worry about sort of small squabbles on Earth type of thing. And not much point in that. Yeah, we want to be a civilization that expands to the galaxy with spaceships that anyone can go anywhere they want at any time. That would be epic.
Open
and
space
have a city
borders.
on the moon, cities on Mars, populate the solar system, and send spaceships to other star systems.
That sounds pretty cool.
Like the best possible future. You know? So to do that, we need to harness the power of the sun. And so a terafab, while it is enormous, a terawatt of compute per year is enormous by our sort of civilizational standards. It is still just one step along the way of being even a Kardashev. You still have a long way to go to even be a Kardashev 2 level civilization, and you're not even registering as a Kardashev 3. So it's a very big thing by current human standards, but still small in the grand scheme. It's very difficult for humans. So to accomplish this very difficult goal really requires a combination of efforts of SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla working together to create this epic Tetrafab project. So. And Tesla and XAI and SpaceX have all done amazing things that people did not think would be done before. So there's the Giga Texas fab here. There's the Optimus robot that's being built. There's a global supercharging network.
Pause on that. The what robot? Optimus robot? Oh, is this just, it's this thing. Okay. When he said Optimus robot, of course I was thinking Optimus Prime. So.
There's really quite a lot.
My brain was thinking something a little more grand.
It wasn't that long ago when people thought electric cars wouldn't amount to anything. And there were basically no electric cars for sale when Tesla started. And people said it was impossible, and now Tesla's making 2 million electric cars a year. Yeah. And then XAI, although it's a new company, now part of SpaceX, has also built the first gigawatt-scale compute cluster, which in record time. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA said he'd never seen anything built so fast in his life before. So. A great compliment from NVIDIA. And then SpaceX, well, I guess you can read it for yourself. Well, you already know. I mean, the reusable rockets, people said that reusable rockets weren't possible, and even if you did do them, they wouldn't be economically feasible. So we did them, and then we made them economically feasible. And now we've landed over 500 times. And then we did the Falcon Heavy, and now we're doing Starship. And Starship is a critical piece of the puzzle because in order to scale compute and scale power, you have to go to space, which means that you need massive payload to space. And Starship will enable that. So this gives you sort of just a sense of scale. We've got Optimus there, Optimus for scale. And Optimus is about 5'11", so it gives you a sense of the size of the Starship V3 rocket. Starship V4 will be much longer, actually. The Starship V4 will make Starship V3 look kind of short.
Really?
So we'll expand with Starship V3 to 200 tons of payload to orbit from 100 tons with V3. And then you can see that just
twice as much.
That's just a rough approximation of the AI, the mini version of the AI sat. So that's roughly 100 kilowatts. It's showing the solar panels and the radiator to scale. So for some reason, there's been a bizarre debate about radiators in space. It's safe to say SpaceX knows how to do heat rejection in space with 10,000 satellites in orbit. Might know a thing or two. So you can see the radiator is actually quite small relative to the solar panels. And we call that the mini-sat, since that's just 100 kilowatts. We expect future satellites to probably go to the megawatt range. Yeah.
Significantly bigger.
So in order to get to the terawatt of compute per year, you need about 10 million tons to orbit per year, and at 100 kilowatts per ton. So we're confident this is feasible. Like no new physics or impossible things are required to get there. So I'm confident actually that SpaceX will get to 10 million tons to orbit per year. And then we're building up to a terawatt of solar. So that solves will solve the solar problem, the power generation. So then the key missing ingredient is therefore a terawatt of compute. So this announcement is about solving the key missing ingredient. To give you a sense of what we're talking about, the current output of AI compute is roughly 20 gigawatts per year. This chart explains why we need to build the Tetrafab. Because all of the rest of the output from Earth is about 2% of what we need. So if you add up all the fabs on Earth combined, they're only about 2% of what we need for the terawatt project, or Tetrafab project. So, we certainly want our existing supply chain to be clear. We're very grateful to our existing supply chain, to Samsung, TSMC, Micron, and others. And we would like them to expand as quickly as they can, and we will buy all of their chips. I have said these exact words to them. But there's a maximum rate at which they're comfortable expanding.
Yeah.
But that rate is much less than we would like.
Apparently.
So we either build the Tetrafab or we don't have the chips. And we need the chips, so we're going to build the Tetrafab.
He's talking about 50 years worth of...
and we're starting off...
2%, right? So 50 times 2 is 100. 50 years worth of power.
With an advanced technology fab here in Austin. And I believe Governor Abbott is in the audience. I'd like to thank Governor Abbott and the state of Texas for their support. All right. So in the advanced technology fab, we will have all of the equipment necessary to make a chip of any kind, logical memory.
Oh, fabrication. It took me a minute. Tetrafab. So it's really just this facility to fabricate that a terawatt of processing power, of compute, as he says?
Have all of the equipment necessary to make a chip of any kind, logical memory, and we will also have all of the equipment necessary to make the lithography masks. So in a single building, we can create a lithography mask, make the chip, test the chip, make another mask, and have an incredibly fast recursive loop for improving the chip design. To the best of my knowledge, this doesn't exist anywhere in the world, where you've got everything necessary to build logic, memory, and do packaging, and test it, and then do the masks, improve the masks, and just keep looping it. So, and we're not just going to do conventional compute in this. I think there's some very interesting new physics that is potentially, that actually I'm confident will work. It's just a question of when. So,
didn't he say before it wouldn't take any new physics? I mean, beside the point, but curious. Oh, now the arrows are working. Okay.
That actually I'm confident will work. It's just a question of when. So this is we're really going to push the limit of physics in compute. And we're going to try a bunch of wild and crazy things, which you can do if you've got that fast iteration loop. That I can't emphasize enough the importance of being able to make a chip, test it, and then change the design, do another one, and have that in a single building. I think that our recursive improvement with that situation is probably an order of magnitude better than anything else in the world. Yeah. So broadly speaking, we expect to make two kinds of chips. One will be optimized for edge and inference. So that'll be used primarily in Optimus and in the cars, but especially in Optimus, because I expect the robots, humanoid robots, to be made 10 to 100 times more than the volume of cars. So, you know, if vehicle production on Earth is about 100 million vehicles a year, and I expect humanoid robot production to be somewhere between 1 billion and 10 billion units a year.
Wait, what's this? Cinematic. Would this be... Was this a commercial?
Easier over time. These are very important points. So... Yeah.
What are we looking at here? Launchpad, maybe? Yes. See, I'm smart sometimes. Oh yeah. Maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe that's some kind of transit system. Interesting concept, whatever it is. I mean, that's gotta be a transit. Oh, it is a launch. I might have to back up to see him introduce this video. I don't know what we're really looking at here. I mean, a populated moon, right? Or colonized moon, rather. Let's back up before the video a little bit. What are we looking at here, Elon?
It becomes a no-brainer, basically. Moreover, as you go to space, you get increased economies of scale, and things get easier over time, whereas as you try to put more and more power on the ground, you run out of space. And you start using up the easy spots, and then you get next-level NIMBY. Nobody wants the thing in their backyard. So actually increasing power on Earth becomes harder over time and more expensive over time. But in space,
I don't know why that is, because I mean, if you ever take a trip, like a cross-country trip in the U.S., especially when you get to the Midwest, you will see so much flat, unpopulated land just for like days worth of driving. There's so much of it. It's insane. It's flat, unpopulated. I mean, most of it's out in the desert, right? But I mean, there's a lot of it. I don't know if the government has that like reserved for, you know, whatever, but it doesn't seem like there's nothing going on out there. I mean, a chunk of it now has like wind farms built on it, but still that's like few and far between. So I don't know why that is. I don't know why people have trouble getting land and space to build on.
Harder over time.
That doesn't make sense to me.
And more expensive over time. But in space, it becomes actually cheaper and easier over time. These are very important points. So.
Oh, is that it? So he just wants to fabricate this stuff in space? I don't know. Okay, well, I think I'm done with that. Very interesting stuff. I don't know. Elon's doing some crazy shit. Like the fucking Neuralink thing is just so insane. This Kenneth guy and his wife and the two those two young guys working with him, They all just had such great smiles. They looked so happy. Incredibly fulfilling, beautiful work. Love to see it. And I mean, it's just going to get better over time. It's amazing. And we'll see what comes from this Tetrafab project. If he makes this happen, that would be insane. Because again, we're talking 50 years worth of energy, or I don't know, compute or whatever, produced in 1 year, right? Insane stuff. But yeah, that's all I want to look at. Those two things, really. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you stuck around, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna basically cover some random stuff every day. Yeah, that's about it. Peace.